Welcome once again to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Noxweiler Burf, and I will be your game master and guide through the dark and very perilous world of Outbreak Undead. Our campaign is known as Rag and Bone, and the survivors that are gathered here will be using all of their wits to attempt to survive tonight's scenario. Much has happened, but if you are here for the first time, we welcome you. It is only appropriate that, as always, I warn you. Our game is not for the faint of heart. There are situations that will be presented that offer violent outcomes. This world is not one of fantasy. It is not one that can be saved with a magical sword. There is no princess in a castle here. This is a dark world that is an extrapolation of a world that is very familiar to all of us. The world ended on Monday, August 29th, 1995. What was left after was an empty place with very little hope. The sky fell and the dead rose. Civilization quickly collapsed and sickness spread like lightning through those that had managed to make it past that fateful day. And those that did survive had to learn very quickly what it would take to make it through each and every day that would follow thereafter. There are no simple choices. This is a matter of life and death. We have much to do tonight, but I would like to thank a few individuals before we begin. Our technical direction tonight is brought by JB Jara, and he has worked tirelessly to provide you with the experience that you are about to endure. Additionally, we have Alex Hillman in the chat. He, along with all of our moderators, will be assisting you. We have partnered with Foreteller and have created the Scry application. The extension is found below in our panels. If you have not already, we encourage you to join in with the rest of the community and make decisions that will allow the survivors, not only here, but in the network of communities that they will interact with, stronger. These choices, the choices that are made within the Scry, as some of you already know, have grave consequences. Tonight, there will be no additional competency point for our players. We, each week, challenge you, our viewers, to help us in gathering either 15 subscriptions or 100 new followers within our channel. If those benchmarks are not met, we are sadly unable to gift the players with the assistance that they may need to make it through to the following session. Each player tonight will start then with 3 competency points, and I wish them the best of luck. That said, we are very excited to share with you something else. Due to the overwhelming demand that we have heard from all of you in the community, we have created a certain amount of merchandise. For a limited time, that will be available on the Hunter's Entertainment website. I have no doubt that Alex and the rest of the moderators will share those links with you now. If you wish to wear a shirt that proclaims your inquisitive nature as to whether or not you are currently standing within a location hazard, or if you would like to promote a hype tank, you will be able to do so now. Thank you again for your support. We hope that you find these offerings helpful. Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you all of the survivors for tonight's story. I have already spoken with them, and we have consented to this roleplay. We have discussed where our boundaries lie, and we will be careful as we move forward. We take safety very seriously here, and we have created a circle of trust. You are now within that circle. But as I said, Allow me to introduce you to the players. May, would you please tell everyone a little bit about yourself and who you'll be playing tonight? Also, if you have any other projects that you would like to inform them about.
Yes, hello, I am Melee Damage. I am a role player on quite a few shows, some with a lot of the others here. On Wednesday, I do my own show called Denver by Night. On Thursday, I'm in a show with Alquin called A Darkened Witch. And I'm playing Rowan tonight, who is a little bit of a military brat who might like the apocalypse a little bit more than she lets on.
Rowan has been a very lively addition to the survivors, and due to her actions, Lampwick may yet survive, but that is yet to be seen. Markia, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself, who you're playing, and anything that you might wish to promote before we begin?
Hey, I'm Markia McCarty. I'm a host, interviewer, narrator. I do the Something Scary podcast on youtube.com/snarl, just the animated horror series, along with I narrated additional 3 to 4 stories, horror stories that you can find on podcasts everywhere. I'm also in The Shadow Diaries, which is an audio drama. And hopefully this Friday, you will join us for the finale of Hunter's Gathering, where it actually be part 2 of the finale, because last week we were talking with the cast. And this week, we'll be talking with production and people behind the camera, behind the scenes that make everything happen here at Hunter's Entertainment. So, as for my character that I'm playing Achira Sampson. Achira is, for most of her life, has been a loner, quick to cut loose and run when things get too tough. Things have gotten too tough, but unfortunately, she doesn't have the possibility of running right now. And in fact, she has formed a type of alliance with someone who knocked her on her ass a couple of sessions ago. So we'll just see how this alliance continues forward for the both of them.
Thank you for being with us again, Markia. Luis, welcome back. So much has happened in your absence. We are glad to see you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you will be playing tonight, and if you have any projects that you would like to promote? Luis, would you like
Hey,
to introduce yourself?
yes, can you hear me all right?
We can hear you just fine, thank
Okay,
you.
great. Hi, everyone. I'm Luis Carrazzo. Quickly, I'm an actor. Been on some TV shows, streamed on a couple things. Got something that for you guys that I shot last week that'll air in 2021 that I'll be happy to share with everybody when it comes out. It's going to be fun. I'm playing Lampwick. Lampwick is a survivor. Lampwick is someone whose moral compass is a little bit twisted in that there are certain people that he is completely willing to use and abuse in any way possible, manipulate to, uh, pretty lengthy ways in order to get whatever he needs out of them. But on the flip side of that, there are certain people that he absolutely has a kind of loyalty towards. And right now he's in a little bit of a pickle. I think he is got his ass knocked out, and that's where we last left him. And this is what I got to deal with today. We'll see how that goes.
We will indeed see. Last but not least, we have Alquin with us. Alquin, thank you so much for being our guest tonight. Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and who you will be playing?
Hi, I'm Alquin Gersh. This is not my first experience streaming and playing in Outbreak Undead. I got into the system playing with Ivan Van Norman in a series called We're Alive Frontier, which had 2 seasons of trying to avoid being horribly dispatched with a bunch of other people. I'm currently developing a full-length supplement for Hunter's Entertainment called Danse Macabre, which is a Black Plague like early Renaissance setting for Outbreak Undead. Other things you might have seen me in, I'm on A Darkened Wish with May, which is on Thursdays on the D&D Twitch channel. And last week, I ran something for Celebrity Charity 20 with Satine Phoenix and a bunch of other players for a setting called the Red Opera, which I'll be doing a series in the spring. You should look that up on Kickstarter. It's available for pre-order now. It's called The Red Opera, and it's based on an album by the band Dia Morte, which is a symphonic metal group. I'm going to be playing Kusanagi today, who is a trader of tapes, who is looking for a stash of VHS for him to dub, an admirer of the mythical Blockbuster. I see myself as an archivist and someone who is trying to preserve a lot of the great classics of Japanese animation, which he was very interested in when the fall happened in 1995.
We are so very thankful that you are here with us and excited to tell this story. Without further ado, as we have much to do tonight, I will pass you on to the introduction. The road is long, and we have much of it yet to travel. It is a Monday. School is no longer in session. It is a holiday weekend. And yet, a young man sits in a darkened room with the flicker and flash of a large monitor illuminating a very small, cramped room, tucked on the eastern side of the gymnasium, surrounded by large shelves, each of them meticulously filled with box after box of VHS tape. There are a number of other equipment carts, each of them marked St. Peter's High School. We are in Cambridge, Massachusetts, 1995. Memorial Day. And while many students his age are outside enjoying barbecues with their families or enjoying their time away from the halls of academia, this young man has found himself back within the confines of his school. working diligently on a very special project. Philip, you are in front of the tape-to-tape transfer machine, and the large knobs and the whirling of the machine produces a warmth in the room. You are very lightly sweating. Could you describe yourself to us, please?
I have slick-backed hair, probably with a little bit too much product in it. I'm wearing a polo shirt that's my school uniform that has the, even though it's a weekend, I just like being here in this place. The AV room has the newest camcorders and VCRs, Betamax, VHS, anything that I could possibly need. I'm really excited because I'm getting some tapes from a friend of mine who has a connection in Taiwan, because his cousin can get Japanese TV on it, and I'm just so enthusiastic that I'm really excited about new things that are going to come out, but they don't always come out in the U.S. So I have to get into this tape trading network, and it's difficult, honestly, if you don't have a connection to it. But I'm very passionate about it. I just love Japanese animation. My parents don't understand it. Nobody else at school understands it. But they still call on me when they need me to, repair a VCR or wheel the TV cart into one of the classrooms. My clothes don't fit very well. I don't pay a lot of attention to my personal appearance. Yeah.
You're a solitary young man, and during your work here in the AV room, you have found a certain amount of satisfaction, tapping into an inherent talent that you have for being able to create these duplicates and finding the correct manner of splicing as you work very diligently to produce a number of tapes, not only for yourself, but to share with those that you network with. It is a rarity, but you have spent time traveling throughout Massachusetts to various small conventions in the lobbies of strange Holiday Inns and Sheratons, finding yourself in small cramped rooms with others like yourself who have a deep appreciation for this mostly unknown art form. As the blur of brightly colored figures dance across this monitor, you hear keys jingle and the door opens, and standing in the doorway is a familiar face. The head of the AV department and one of your teachers appears. His name is Mr. Addison, and he has tight-cropped gray hair, a stout build, short in stature, orthopedic shoes, and a horrible case of halitosis. Mr. Addison squeezes himself in.
I go to drag my backpack over a stack of VHS tapes that I have that say Urotsuka Doji on them. I hide them.
I thought I might find you here, Philip. It's good to see you.
Hi, Mr. Addison. I'm just getting some stuff done for the seminary training tapes.
He looks at you with a wry smile. You aren't certain, but you think that he may be onto you. You think that he may be wise to your true intentions within this room. He doesn't believe everything that you have said about your activities here, but he doesn't seem to question them. He's one of those teachers that encourages curiosity and knows that you, perhaps like him when he was younger, are somewhat isolated. You think that he gives you a great amount of allowance in this. And as he looks over at you, he doesn't seem to question the tapes that are stacked underneath your backpack or any of the other activities that have occurred. He smiles faintly. Mrs. Clausen is sick. Tomorrow, when everyone returns, I think you're going to find that the debate club will be canceled. I'm sorry, I know that the others were expecting to be able to have that taped. I won't need you to film it, but you still have the keys, and can do whatever you like with your spare time here.
I'm just, collecting my cartoons.
All right. That's all right, Philip. I'm glad you have a passion. We've not gotten a chance to talk much, but listen, I do have to leave. Can I trust you to lock everything up?
Oh, certainly. And by the way, thank you so much for writing that recommendation letter for me. I mean, if I do get in, I mean, it's going to take some convincing to get my parents to let me major in Japanese. But I mean, like, I think if I do get a chance to do that, it's partly going to be because of you, Mr. Addison.
Philip, you have always been a smart boy, and I've always sought to help the students here as much as I could. Of course, not all of them wish to be helped. Your enthusiasm alone is worth writing that letter. Let me know if there's anything else you need. I'll be rooting for you.
Thank you, Mr. Addison.
You're quite welcome, Philip, and I really do need to go. My wife called earlier. There's something going around, and if you and your parents haven't already, you're gonna need to get one of the flu shots.
Oh, I mean, it's probably not a big deal. I mean, my family and I, we're all. My dad says that we have very strong immune systems, that we're all very hardy.
I'm sure they do, but there's all that business that's been happening overseas, and I just think that if your family's considering
what's been happening overseas, I don't really watch the news.
Oh, well, there's quite a bit that's happening, Philip, and I think that as active as you are in the cartoons, I think that perhaps it's time to begin to open up your understanding of the world just a bit. Watch the news tonight when you get home, but
okay,
it isn't good. There have been states of emergencies called in other countries, and here in the U.S.
Which countries?
You're worried about Japan.
I mean, I'm worried about the world in general, but which countries?
China and all of Europe. No word from Japan. They've been very quiet. The United Nations is already holding a very important meeting. Again, I do think that you should read the newspaper and watch the news, Philip. You're a very bright boy, but you can't hide in this room. The world's a much bigger place, and you have a place within it.
Okay, I'll clean up.
Take your time. He stops on his way out, and he turns on the radio. And he just kind of dials it through, and you hear a news broadcast, and it just starts to hum in the background as he walks out. And before he closes the door, the janitors will be locking up all of the main doors, but you are responsible for this door. And Philip, if it isn't locked, I won't be allowed to have you here anymore out of hours. You understand?
Okay. Yeah. I'll remember, Mr. Addison.
All right, good boy. Have a good rest of your holiday, and please tell your parents that I said hello.
All right, thanks.
He walks out, and you're left alone in the darkened room once more. The radio continues to buzz and hiss behind you. As it does, you begin working to clean up, putting away your tapes and packing your backpack. Area hospitals are yet unable to fill the demand for growing illness that has been striking through the city today. Much of what has been occurring is being quelled under a large veil of... And the radio continues to pop along. As you're packing your bags, something outside catches your attention. I need you to make a spot listen check, please. That's 3 degrees of failure. You are allowed to use your competency points in these flashbacks. However, I leave it entirely up to you as to whether or not you do.
I think I'm too distracted at this point to pick
Between
up
the
on.
radio and gathering your things, you miss something. There's a loud popping sound outside, but it sounds like something was dropped. You continue to pack your bag. And you walk out about 30 minutes later. Turning off the lights as you always do, you click the radio off as it continues to talk about local hospitals. The door itself is locked by you, and the single key that you've been entrusted by Mr. Addison is placed neatly within your pocket. You turn and begin walking down the long hallway. There, at the far end, by the glass double doors that lead out to the parking lot, you see a figure, standing, head hanging low.
Are you okay?
It's not okay. It's not okay anymore.
Listen, even though it's the weekend, there's still security here, so, like, if you're, like, a crazy person, like, you shouldn't be here.
You don't recognize the figure. They're wearing nice clothing. They don't seem to be homeless or some outside element that's found their way here. They could easily be someone's parent or perhaps faculty that you hadn't met before. But standing there, you see the figure, they're back to you. He turns his head and you see streaks of tears down his face and a smear of blood across it.
I don't want any trouble, okay? Like, I don't have any money or anything.
As he turns, you see the revolver in his hand.
Listen, whatever's going on with you, like, honestly, it has nothing to do with me. And if you're having a bad time now, you're gonna have a much worse time if you hurt a kid.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Listen, if you need to, like, go kill yourself or something, like, this is not an appropriate place to do it. Like, do it at home. Like, it's...
I shot her.
Not cool, man. What?
I
No.
shot her and
Listen, I don't need to know about this stuff, okay?
she died. But she got back up.
There are cameras all over this place, okay?
She didn't
The cops are coming now. You need to leave.
down. I loved her and she's dead. And it doesn't matter. We're not okay. You aren't okay. It's never gonna be okay anymore. What do you do in this moment as this man, you see the gun, he's not threatening you with it, but you see that the front of his shirt is pooled with red. And the normal appearance that you initially gathered is shattered. He's distraught, clearly in shock of some sort, and holding this weapon.
Listen, if you need help, I mean, even if you did something bad, if you tell the truth, then you'll be okay. Why don't you just put the gun on the ground and then we can talk some more.
Numb, empty, his eyes meet yours. And there's a reverberation in the moment as the two of you connect as you say those words, Philip. Nothing is going to be okay again. You should go home.
Okay.
Go home.
I take off.
Do you run past him or behind you? Do you turn and run back?
I make a semicircle around him without turning away from him. And then I back away.
You do so. And the whole time he stands there, still, and watches you as you push the double doors and head outside. The air is crisp, and it greets you as the fresh air surrounds you as you enter into the parking lot. And as the door slams shut, you hear a gunshot. And in the parking lot, you see a vehicle that has crashed into a lamppost. There's smoke rising off of it. And you see Mr. Addison lying face down in the street, a pool of blood around him, his leg turned back like a broken rag doll. There's nothing natural about the way that he's lying on the ground, and his skin is ashen gray. Philip, have you ever seen a dead body before?
No, but I mean, I've seen a lot of movies with a lot of stuff like this in them. This is different. This looks like wrong.
You realize that it's real. I need you to make a composure check with 3 degrees of difficulty. So add 3 black d6s to your roll. You've rolled 104, which is 5 degrees of failure. It is a catastrophic failure. What do you think is appropriate for Philip in this moment as he realizes that this teacher that was kind to him is dead in front of him, and that there was a gunshot behind him, and that the car in front of him has another dead body inside of it, one that is unmoving, its face slammed into the dashboard, unmoving?
I drop my backpack, even though it's got tapes in it that are not mine, even though it's got my Walkman in it, all the things I really care about are in it. But all I can think about is that it's going to weigh me down, that I have to run. And I think I'm running towards my house, but I don't live that close to school. I just run in whatever direction I can.
You're lost. In fact, you don't remember most of what has happened in the last 5 minutes. You just run. And you run as far and as hard as you can. And you've lived in this town your entire life, and yet none of it seems familiar to you as smoke billows into the sky and sirens surround you. There is the flash of lights as fire trucks pass by in streets, and you see people who are not peaceful in the streets, but who are quickly running to vehicles, fighting with one another. You hear windows break as looters begin jumping through, hoping to be able to grab anything that they can take with them. You hear the honking of horns and another crash somewhere in the distance as 2 vehicles plow into each other. And you realize that it's only a few feet away, Philip. You are lost, not just in the street that you are standing in, but in your own mind. You can't get the sight out of your head. The blood. And you turn, hoping for something that makes sense. Lampwick. Your eyes flicker open. And the first thing that you realize is that it is dark. Very dark and cold. And your body is racked with an intense pain as the stab wound in your side sends shockwaves across your entire body. Your head lolls back and you are covered in a sheen of flop sweat. You're being held upright, and you see two figures standing before you, holding on to you from either side. Both of them are carrying weapons. One, a semi-automatic rifle. And Rowan, would you please describe yourself and what you're carrying?
Rowan looks a lot like me, but she does have her mask up while going through the cave to not breathe in any of that cave air. So it's a rather terrifying clown face. And around her neck, she has a chain that has a ton of pop tabs kind of pulled off and strung on it. She is holding a couple of grenades, it looks like. She's got on heavy combat boots and a heavy coat. And she's got a backpack with her. And she probably looks like she's got a few other things tucked up and around that you can't quite see. There's probably a little bit more concealed there than she's letting on.
On your right, you see a dark-haired man with olive skin wearing a Canadian flag that has been stitched onto the back of his jacket. He's holding on to a hand-rolled cigarette on one side of his mouth. It's unlit. And holding you as you are being dragged through what looks like a series of mine shafts. There is rough-hewn rock on either side of you and a number of very strong-looking supports that have been propped in certain areas of this tunnel. The framework is created using a series of 6x6 posts that branch all the way to the very ceiling. It is only about 8 feet to the very top, and there is a claustrophobic feel to the space around you. There are rusted lanterns that are hung on some of these posts. None of them have been lit. And Rowan, what source of light were you and Philippe using when you had last been here?
I know we had a Zippo at one point, but I think we were able to find a torch of some sort, if I'm not mistaken.
Along with shouldering the weight of Lampwick and a weapon, you are also holding on to a single old oil lantern. It flickers a warm orange light that bleeds across this place. Lampwick, you have seen these two individuals, but only briefly. In your first encounter with them, they had been standing on the other side of the Grey Ridge farmhouse before that thing arrived and attacked outside of the horde. You had tried to save yourself by pushing your way through the horde, and having been aided by Chuckwagon, one of the survivors within the community here at Grey Ridge, you decided to hedge your bets and try to make it on your own, pushing Chuckwagon into the horde. That action, however, had repercussions that, at the end of it all, left you very badly wounded, lying on the ground, and for a moment, certain to be swarmed by the living dead. The Romeros continued to mill about you, and in a last-ditch effort to save your life, you had begun to chop off your own fingers, hoping to be able to throw them into the crowd of the dead, offering them something that might slow their descent upon you. However, before you were able to remove your fingers, you passed out from the pain. And looking down at your hand, the bloody mess that is there, you do still possess all of your digits, though there is a very bad cut that continues to bleed.
So, we lived, huh?
Ooh, morning, Buttercup. Yeah, you're kind of alive. Kind of being the operative word in this situation.
Yeah, that feels about right. Oh,
Uh,
I owe you one. You're the one sent here to save this town, right?
well, in a matter of speaking. I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn. Who am I kidding? Yeah, I do. I was in the process of trying to save you until that shit-ass doctor locked us out of the cave. So we had to find a back way in, and I'm not quite sure where the rest of your friends have gone, but when we find them, have I got words?
You and me both. They have a lot to explain.
I need help. Can
Of course you need help.
Any of you doctors at all? I need someone to take a look at this.
Is Rowan a doctor? No, I am not a doctor either. You are shit out of luck on that department, but you are alive, so I would suggest you relax.
All right, I'll do my best.
Now then, friend, can you walk on your own?
I don't know if I can. I'm going to need some help, but I can try to ease the burden off of you a little bit. And with that, I try to stabilize myself a little bit and see if I can take my own weight.
All right, so if you're going to try to do that, Louise, what I'm going to need Lampwick to do is to make an endurance check. And you're going to have 3 degrees of difficulty.
Got it.
Because of the immense amount of pain that you have undergone, and also your injuries have caused you to begin to very rapidly lose blood.
Oof. Alrighty, here we go. That's how much Roll20 loves me.
You have also rolled over 100, and that means that you have 5 degrees of failure. Would you like to use your 3 competency points to mitigate this, or would you like to take the results?
I am going to, as soon as I take a step down, since it looks like my companions seem to be willing to carry me this far, I'm going to hope that they're willing to do more of that, bear that burden. I'm going to take a step down and no can do, guys. Not the place. Can't help you yet.
Yeah, it's a little hard to catch your breath down here, buddy. Just you sit there for a second, and Rowan will start kind of fanning him a little bit.
I'm not mitigating this.
With 5 degrees of failure, you not only stop, but you lose the weight under your feet and you fall to the ground. Oh, come the fuck on.
Hold on, I need a sec, you guys. I've got a lot going on. I need to get to the doctor. I need a moment, please. Does anybody have any water? I just need some water, please.
Lampwick, make a spot listen check with 3 degrees of difficulty. Rowan, make a spot listen with no degrees of difficulty. Lampwick, that's actually fairly good.
Not too bad.
That's 1 degree of failure. So, do you wish to keep the 1 degree of failure?
I'm gonna I'm gonna roll with that. It makes more sense for me to still not. The last roll isn't gonna let me have a success, so I'm gonna roll with the two leading into each other.
That's understandable. You are unaware, but something is happening between Rowan and this other individual. There is some sort of silent communication. You are just not privy to what it is. But you do know that they are communicating with one another. Rowan, you have failed your spot listen. And after you do not realize what it is that Philippe is trying to communicate, he pulls you to the side. You witness this, Lampwick, and very quietly, under his breath, look, I say we ice him now and continue to move down here. There is no way he's going to make it. We'd be doing him a favor.
Do I hear that?
You don't hear it, but you
Got
do very clearly see that they're whispering in front of you.
Well, Philippe, as much as I usually agree with you on that, I have a feeling that if we run back into the doctor and we have this one, we might actually be a little bit more trustworthy in her eyes as opposed to just icing them. She kind of already hates us, and you're
That
right.
crazy doctor is not going to believe you are anything other than what you are. And she is certainly not going to give us any more consideration for this one. She closed the door and locked it on us.
Hey, wait. Okay, so you guys, what's going on? I know that
You do hear that last part, Lampwick, because he has raised his voice.
Got it. Hey, you know what? You're right. You're not going to get much. You're not going to make much ground with the doctor without me, and with my friends. And my friends are really good at what they do. Look, our numbers are down. We all need to stick together. I know I'm not in great shape right now, but there's things that I'm good at, and I plan to recover. And you're going to need me for those things. So help me get to them, and you won't regret it.
All right, but look, if we do this and we get you to your friends, our numbers are depleted too. So how about you meet back up with your friends, you let them know you're okay, and if you survive this,
If is a big word.
you come with us now. We need more manpower. You're on our team.
You got it. If you guys get me out of this thing and you let me take my friends with me, we're out of here. This town's falling apart. It was falling to shit when we got here. This doctor, I don't know. She doesn't know how to. If she's the one that was in charge, she wasn't doing a good job.
Look. If you give your word to Rowan, you need to know that that means something. And if you lie to us, that means something too. So if you do not follow through on the things that you say you will do, you'll be very sorry.
You help me survive, you get me to my friends. And I'm all yours. I don't want to stay here, and I doubt they do too.
Va te fait popular. As he turns very quickly and seems upset that this is going on, but kind of resigns himself as long as you're standing by it, Rowan.
I think he likes me.
Oh yeah, he likes everybody. He's French.
I am French Canadian.
That's the same thing.
He shakes his head as he kind of like starts to pick you up, Lampwick. Your side immediately jolts as he pulls you up. Make me one final endurance check. And once again, and I'm sorry, my friend, you do have 3 degrees of difficulty on this roll.
I understand.
I'm sorry, 3 difficulty dice are added to it. So with that, you have failed again. You begin to black out, but he smacks you in the face and splashes water on you, and you are barely hanging on.
I need a drink. I asked for a drink earlier. Please let me have a
I just
drink.
gave you a drink.
No, that's not a drink. I appreciate that. It's very funny, but
fuck you. And he throws you a canteen, and you continue to move down this corridor. Rowan, would you like to make a navigation check to lead through this tunnel?
Sure. Let's see. Is navigation under trained skills? Yes, there it is.
That's 1 degree of success. While you are not certain to the nature of these mine shafts, you know that from the preliminary time that you've been underground, that this is a very extensive network of mine corridors and shafts. And you start to kind of parse together the best avenues to take to try to turn yourself back around. And before you go deeper, move yourself along the outskirts. The intention being that if there are others, that most likely they are still fairly close to the other entrances. So you're moving along, technically towards the north of where the ridge passes along the other entrances. And as you do, the three of you move on into the darkness. It gets colder, and the flickering lamplight does very little to help you. Shadows move at odd angles, and there is a swirl of very, very stale air around you. A sense of claustrophobia begins to close down. And then somewhere in a tunnel much further away, you hear a strange shrieking noise, and somebody screams. There is gunfire, a semi-automatic weapon, and then everything is silent. Achira, you and Dr. Maria Espinosa have continued your journey deeper into these mines. When we last left you, you had been knocked unconscious by the doctor. You had been bound, and you had a conversation with the doctor that led her to free you, under the condition that you would travel with her back towards the house to try to find any survivors that may have made it out. What weapons are you currently carrying?
Achira would have her long gun. She also has her hand scythe, but she has that tucked away again. So the long gun would be her main weapon right now.
The long gun is in your hands, and the doctor has a pistol, but also a light, another of these lanterns that she's holding in front of her. Both of you are carrying packs. Are you carrying only your pack, or are you carrying other equipment?
I'm not over encumbered, so I believe it was just my pack. I feel like I might have had someone else's too, but if that over encumbers me, then it was just my own.
We'll say that you left the other items behind in the area that you and the doctor had first re-encountered one another after you woke up. Your head still is ringing, and you have sustained a fairly painful bruise on the back of your head where she had hit you with a 2x4. It doesn't work the way that it often is depicted in the movies. When you hit someone in the head, it is not a kindness. You have a ringing headache. A trickle of blood is on your forehead, and you feel slightly faint. However, you have continued, and the two of you have come to a truce, an agreement. She's walking in front of you, but she very warily keeps an eye on you from time to time, turning back to see where you are, what you are doing. She stops and clears rubble away from a ledge of rock that has been carved off to one side. And there, Achira, you see that she is reading something.
What's going on over there?
These are our shafts here. These mine corridors, we've been using them now for years. It's always been a contingency plan of ours, should anything like this happen, that we fall back here. It's been years since I've been down here, really. And the member of our community who set it up left a series of markers so that we would know the way. Deeper within these shafts, there's a safe house. There are supplies there. I just want to make sure that we know where we're going. And carved onto the wall, you see Bancroft written in crude letters on the wall.
What does that mean? Can you teach me that?
I could teach you that, Achira, yes, but I'm not going to. Let's keep moving.
Why not? I thought that we were on the same side now. What if something happens to you and I have to drag your body out of here?
Well, then I guess you should make sure that nothing happens to me, Achira. We have an arrangement. I'm keeping this close to me just in case. I know the way out. I know the way deeper. You want that information? I have to live.
Well, I guess for you to be able to utilize that information, I'll have to live too.
She turns and keeps walking down the corridor. You move on for 30 minutes. There's a series of sloping corridors that are difficult to maneuver. The rocks here are piled as if an area had caved in and then someone had worked to clear it back out. The wooden posts that are here are holding back a large amount of debris, and it looks very unsafe. Do you continue forward as the doctor presses on?
Hey, Doc. This is not looking really good right now. Let's just be on the same page real quick, the both of us. Is it that you're trying to head to the basement entrance right now? Or are we going to try to head outside, regroup, and then come back in?
We go to the basement first. We find out if anyone's still alive. We gather those that are, and then we go to the safe house. That's the plan.
All right, but if anything changes, if this starts a slipping and a sliding, we agree it's just time to go, yes?
This is the only way that I know of. We could turn back, but I don't know that there's another way. Certainly not one this quick. I think it's worth the risk.
All right, well, let's keep on moving then.
As you and the doctor move through this precarious corridor, I'd like for you to make a balance check. No degrees of difficulty will be, no dice will be added to that. Just a straight balance check.
Okay. Is that anything I would use like climbing gear for?
If you have climbing gear and you wish to use it in this situation, absolutely.
Okay, I have 2 in climbing gear, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that.
You take a number of ropes that you have in your bag and you secure yourself. Do you secure the doctor as well?
I do.
The doctor allows it and continues forward once you're done. You have 1 degree of success as you and the doctor very carefully maneuver your way through this passage. The ground underfoot slips and a number of rocks do move, but there doesn't seem to be any further cave-in. You pass by, successful. And as you move through, you see a more solidified corridor. There is a light in the distance. Do you have a question?
I have a small question because that was somewhat hazardous. That particular location that we just went through.
That was a location hazard. This is not. You are on the other side of it.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. I
I can
will.
award you in the scenario, not after.
Okay, I got it, and I will keep that in mind in the future. Thank you.
There's a light in the distance. It is a lantern light that is flickering. There is a soft, warm glow. What do you do? The doctor stops.
Is this not normal, Doc?
I don't know who else is down here, do you?
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, maybe somebody else from my crew is here. I know Abigail and Juniper are pretty spry. Why don't you hang here for a second and let me scout ahead? And Chira's gonna try to stealth.
I'll be watching you as you sneak past her. Go ahead and make a stealth check for me, please. The ground here is secure and it's very dark. There are no difficulty dice added to this roll. So your intention is to stealth forward.
Will I be able to use my recon gear with this? Since there is no danger and I'm...
You can.
Okay.
Yes. You're trying to scout ahead. You're going to use the gear that you have as you begin moving forward. The binoculars are not going to help you, but you do have some other equipment that is going to be useful to you in remaining quiet as you carefully begin moving forward. Kusanagi, what is your intention as you move through this corridor? You are muted.
I just don't want anybody to get the jump on me.
All I need you to do is make a spot listen for me, please. It is dark, and you have been down here for a number of hours now. The rest of your group was investigating a series of shouts and some gunfire that you had heard. You were to secure the supplies, and you've managed to do that. Most of the rest of the team has taken their packs with them, but the rest of the equipment is with you. I go ahead and make your spot listen. Achira, you have 5 degrees of success, which is enormous.
It's astounding, and now I'm scared of every other roll I'm doing for the rest of this session.
I will not have you make another stealth roll. And you move forward. And the individual who begins walking down the corridor closer, who has the light emanating from a lantern that they're holding in front of them, comes into view. Kusanagi, could you please describe yourself?
Kusanagi has unkept hair and is wearing what looks like a sort of ragged, patched together pieces of like military equipment, very large cargo pants. He's got a backpack and belts with lots of pouches and stuff on them. He looks like he has some sort of box or something, like some sort of metal box that has a shoulder strap on it that's slung cross body. And he's carrying the lantern. You can also see that he's got a holster with a 9mm in it, but it's not drawn at the moment.
With my stealth success, can I get that gun? I mean, we've established that Achira likes to steal from people, and that would be pretty great to grab.
Well, you have 5 degrees of success, which is astounding. My counter offer to that is that you may expend it here to try to take the gun, or you can accept that I will not ask you to make a stealth check again this scenario. The choice is yours.
All right. No more stealth checks this scenario.
Very well. If you wish to make one, you may. The rest of your stealth checks will be considered average, but they will be successful. If you wish to try to make an astounding stealth check, it will require a roll. Do you find that fair?
That's very fair.
All right. So you do not grab for the gun. You think about it, but you see the individual moving past you, and you realize that the way that it's strapped to their shoulder, that it would be hard to take it from them without them noticing. The figure begins moving and closing in on the corridor that you know the doctor is hiding in. Do you do anything?
I'm going to wait so that I can flank behind this figure. So then they'll be sandwiched in between me and the doctor.
Very well. You will be able to take another stealth, which will be an automatic success if you choose. But you do need to roll for me a single speed die. And Kusanagi, what is your intention in this moment?
I need to try to find more information about the person I'm pursuing. But
so you can make a spot listen if you would like, and see if you can hear anything off in the further corridors to see if that gives you any indication as to where they might be.
Does my lantern count as any sort of gear?
It does. And you can use the same modifier that I gave you earlier for using equipment. Do make sure to roll me 2 speed die, though. As you begin moving forward, Kusanagi, you're listening for any indication as to where further gunshots might be occurring or where individuals might be moving through corridors, either in front of or behind you. Your ears are tuned to the emptiness around you, and I'm not seeing your specific
I don't know why it didn't pop up.
roll, but if you could try to make it again, I'll make it for you, Kusanagi.
Well, here, let me try one more time.
Yes. You carefully slink forward, and I believe that Achira is going to have the initiative here.
Yeah, it's just jumping into my...
Can you tell me what your speed die result was?
I don't see anything.
All right, I'm going to roll 2 speed dice for you. And you will be operating after Achira and after the doctor. So the first thing that happens, Achira, is that you position yourself behind this figure. And since you know where she is, there it is, you see the doctor begin positioning themselves. The doctor is tucked behind one of the wooden posts that is holding the ceiling of this cavern standing. And the doctor, you can tell, is leveling their pistol at this individual. What is it that you would like to do when you're in this position?
Achira is going to level her long gun at this person, making sure that she's not in the line of fire of the doctor, and is then going to make herself known to them.
How do you do that?
She just says really sweetly, "Darling, you're in a whole load of trouble. Stop, get on your knees, or I get to see what the inside of that head looks like."
A moment later, Kusanagi, you see a figure step out from behind one of the wooden posts, and they have a revolver leveled at you as well. I would do what she says. She means it.
Okay, I'm not here to take anything or mess with anybody. I'm just looking for someone.
Who are you with?
On your knees and hands behind your head.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Do you put your weapon down when you do this?
Mm-hmm.
So you set your things down, Kusanagi, and you comply, finding yourself on the hard ground, on your knees, with your hands behind your head. Who are you with?
I just came here with traders.
You're part of the Ender's crew?
I think so.
What are you trading?
Videos.
Videos?
There's
Yeah.
no...
I tap the you see the box that I had with the strap slung over my shoulder, and it's a VCR.
Tinfor's lost his damn mind. Look, thank you for being here. The walls didn't stand. You're in here looting, I'm presuming, right?
Looting? Listen, I don't care about that stuff. We have plenty of our own food and supplies in safe locations. I'm taking a great risk here because I'm a caretaker of information. Information is what's going to keep us alive.
It's a hell of a time for information. Have you seen what's happening out there?
Yeah.
Who is it that you're looking for?
He goes by the name Blockbuster.
Like the video store?
Yeah.
You have any other weapons besides that pistol that you had in your holster?
That's it. And I mean, I'll be clear with you. I've never even used that gun before.
Why don't I believe you?
I mean, most of the time I have friends around me who can do that kind of stuff. I'm more of a librarian.
I'm gonna search your pack. You stay still.
The other woman continues to have this gun pointed at you, Kusanagi.
What do I find in there? Is it just other videos? Like, are there any popular titles, I guess?
Oh, okay. So it's like that. Kusanagi, what is in your pack, and what can you tell Achira about what she finds?
There are a bunch of VHS tapes, and they have labels on them, but they're all in numbers. They're not commercial tapes. They're like dubbed.
What kind of content is this? And what's your name?
I'm Kusanagi.
What kind of content is this, Kusanagi?
I mean, it's whatever I can find, really. Each one of those tapes is a super long play. You can fit 18 hours on some of them. Some of them I've customized. I collect stuff from all over. I have all sorts of great things. Like movies from before the fall. Well, I mean, obviously.
And where is this Blockbuster now?
I mean, I heard he was in the area. And after what was going on outside, I figured he'd be in here somewhere, safe. He's a survivor. He's a legend among my people.
So you're Rag and Bone, and you just found yourself down here, hoping that Blockbuster would be present.
No, I came here actively. We tracked him here.
So you didn't come to help Grey Ridge at all? The distress call, the CB calls, none of that mattered to you?
I mean, I didn't hear any CB calls. I don't really do radio.
Are you... Okay, I'm going to make a roll for the doctor. Are you doing anything else? Does anyone have any intentions that they'd like to establish in this moment?
Well, since everything's just labeled in a way that Achira wouldn't be able to tell if there's a movie there that she would like,
Yeah.
um, she takes a random one.
Can I see which one she takes?
Yeah, you can see as long as Achira, you're not being careful about this.
I'm not gonna be stealthy with this one. I'm gonna take one and I wanna be like, these seem like these are important to you. I'm gonna take one. And if you want it back, nothing happens to us and you don't pull any fast ones. If you want it
Okay.
back in the condition that it's in.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, but just keep in mind, anything you destroy can't be remade. I mean, this is it. I mean, that's got admittedly workout videos on it, but you know, I mean, people got to stay in shape, I guess.
What, like Jane Fonda?
That is actually on there. That's a classic. I'm amazed that you know that.
Are you two finished?
Achira just like puts it in her pack real quick and looks away.
You have your own food and water?
I mean, I have a little bit on me. You're welcome to it.
No. We offer you supplies, you work for us.
Okay. Just me or the other people I'm with? Because, I mean, honestly, I got kind of lost in here and...
You're with other people. Where are they?
And how many?
I think there were like 4 of us total. 2 people I knew, 2 people I didn't. I don't normally work with these people, but it's pretty dangerous out there. I normally stick to the roads, the trade routes.
And all of you were looking for Blockbuster.
They weren't looking for Blockbuster. It was just me.
All right, Kusanagi. You've got one chance with us. We need to get others out of here. You've got a gun, and you're able to help. But if we think for just a moment that you're here to betray us or to hurt us or to hurt anyone here, it's over.
I'm not trying to die here. I'm a collector.
Achira, are you good with this?
I think it's pretty obvious this one's a nerd. I think if we keep him in front or between us, I don't think there should be a problem. And if there is, and Chira looks over at him, I'll set that pack on fire.
Understood. Thank you, by the way. I've seen a lot of how people are these days, and you're really you're some of the more reasonable people I've met, honestly.
The woman standing in front of you steps out of the shadows, and you see her more clearly in the light of your lantern. She's in her mid-50s. She has graying hair that's pulled back tight, but she looks a little disheveled and is obviously sweaty, as everyone is, given the exertion of moving through these tunnels. Her clothing is fairly soiled, although they look like they are well-maintained fatigues. However, she has a pack with her, and she has the gun in her hand. And as she looks across both you and Achira, you can see that she has dark, very suspicious eyes as she falls upon you one more time. I'm a nerd too. But I'll tell you, out here, I've hurt plenty of people. And I'm not afraid to do it again.
I mean, honestly, I think that I can be valuable to you. I know how to do a lot of things. I know batteries, I know generators. I'm as close as you're going to get to an electrician these days.
All right.
And I mean, I have all of the knowledge of the old world too. Well, not all of it, but enough. education. Do you have children?
She immediately pales for a moment, and you can see that she becomes even more distrustful. The community has a few children. We're looking for them now. You really don't know what's going on here. You walked into all of this and you've been in the mine the entire time. You don't know what's happening out there. It's all gone. The horde landed and there's more than most of us have ever seen.
Doc, you getting a little worked up now, and maybe there's some information that others don't need to know just yet to know the situation that we're in.
Well, I mean, we got to stick together then.
All right.
I mean, honestly, the only thing I want from anybody is something that you have to give. You can't take it. It's just information. It's just stories.
We keep moving. We give you supplies. You protect. You fight with us. You help us get the others and get out of here.
Yeah, sure. Happy to be part of the team.
All right.
And this blockbuster person that you're looking for, they're not back the way that we came anyway.
You've seen him?
I said they're not. We didn't see anyone.
There's no one back there.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, still, thank you. That's useful information too. I'm not very good at looking for stuff. I'm more of like a people person than like a nature mind person. I don't know what. I don't know.
Achira does a little snort laugh and then just looks away.
The doctor just walks past you very, very icily and keeps walking down the corridor, carefully kind of observing everything around her as she continues to move deeper down the passage that you came from. You didn't see anything down this direction?
No.
She stops and she clears off another pile of rubble on the wall, and carved there is a word, and it says Carlton, carved into the stone, really crudely.
Is this the Carlton I'm thinking of? And I look at Achira. Do you know a Carlton?
That's the first one I thought of.
It's this way. Without saying anything further, the doctor leads you deeper into the mine. Rowan, Lampwick is moaning as you and Philippe continue to shoulder his weight deeper into the mine.
You're groaning for. We're the ones carrying you.
Can we stop just for one moment, please? I need a break, please.
We have been doing so many breaks. You keep saying, "Oh, I need to take a break." If we keep taking breaks, we're not going to get anywhere.
I know. Yes, right. But you guys, trust me. You need me, and I. If I didn't need it, I wouldn't ask for it. Just give me 10 seconds, please.
Hey, I think it's best if we keep moving, because see, here's the deal. If you die on us before we get you to the doctor, we're going to have to put a bullet between those pretty eyes of yours. So I think it might be within your best interest to just use every little ounce you got left in you to just...
Put on your big boy pants and let's keep moving.
All right. I will put on my big boy pants and let's keep moving.
Go ahead and give me one more endurance check, my friend. You still have 3 dice of difficulty.
All right. I will take that.
Against all odds, you have managed 3 degrees of success. And Lampwick, you take a deep breath, and despite the blood loss, you do manage to pull yourself up and continue to walk. Now, you still need both Rowan and Philippe to continue forward, but you are taking a great amount of your own weight. That's more like it. It's what I like to see. You keep moving. Maybe we'll give you a gun again someday.
Maybe that would be a good idea. The more of us with guns, the better. We don't know if these things are down here.
Rowan, please make for me a spot listen as the three of you continue downward. Philippe and Lampwick are bantering back and forth, and there's a hollow echo, and there's a rumble in the far distance, but you can't tell what direction it's coming from. And that gunfire happens again. And you hear someone again shouting, but it sounds like a different voice, but you can't tell where it's coming from. What do the three of you want to do? What intentions do you have for this moment?
I quiet down to get a better listen. Wait. Shh. Does the gunfire, has it stopped?
I don't hear anything.
I heard something a moment ago, but I think it's too echoey in this damn place. Can't tell which direction anything's freaking coming from.
We do know that there are other motherfuckers down here.
Well, we need a... Gunfire is not necessarily a bad sign. At least it means that there's guns there, and we will need every one of those that we can get our hands on. How well armed are the two of you?
Ooh, I'm cool.
Very well armed.
Look, there's trouble ahead. I don't know how to prove to you that I'm trustworthy, and yeah, I'm not in the greatest shape, but just give me a pistol if you have one to spare, because we don't know what that is.
Look, here's what I'll give you. And Rowan will reach into her pocket and she'll pull out a smoke grenade and she'll hand it to him. Look, first sign of trouble, you need to get away from something, you throw this at him. It's not a boom stick, it's a smoke stick. So it'll at least give you cover to run away.
I don't know how much running I'm going to be able to do in the state that I'm in.
Yeah, good point. It'll give you a chance to hide under a rock until we can drag you away.
Okay, if you insist. But look, our survival is going to depend on every single one of us being able to pull as much of their own weight as they can. You asked me to do that, and I'm offering to do it. Just a pistol. You guys have more than you need. You're not going to use all those guns in one hand.
And just
All right.
watch us.
He makes a good point now, Philippe. Now, hold on. Because, see, now, if he's going to be on our team, we got to see what kind of shot he is. So, you know what? Here. Just keep in mind you owe me one. And she'll reach in and pull out her pistol and go, also, I'll be needing that smoke grenade back. One or the other.
Exchange.
All right.
Give it back. I take the gun, and I put it, like, in my pants, in my belt.
You feel a gun pressed up to your side as Philippe has it jabbed into your ribs. Just so you understand, if that gets pointed anywhere else, you're going to be very sorry.
Look, I don't know what kind of a person you think I am, but I don't go about surviving trying to take down any other human beings that are out there.
Look, asshole, we saw exactly what kind of person you were. You threw that other guy into the freaking horde.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't throw anybody into a horde. What are you talking about? I was here with my friends.
You're a murderous piece of shit.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you don't know what you're talking about.
I saw with my own eyes. You're saying
that's what you think you saw, but no. I don't know what you think you saw, but clearly, in all of the commotion, your attention was on me. Wow, I must be special. I think you like me more than I initially thought.
Boss, I am not going to put up with this mouth. I'm going to shoot him.
Look, he started it. I'm here. You don't need to accuse me of anything. I'm not here calling names. I'm not here throwing dirt in your face. I'm here trying to survive, and I'm here willing to do my part to ensure all of our survival. So look, man, why don't we just settle down and work together? You're the one that, since I woke up, you're the one that's throwing attitude at me. I'm not doing that to you.
Make a calm other check for me, please.
Got it.
And I'm going to give you only one dice of difficulty, given your state, since this is more of a social role.
Got it.
Rowan's just on the side, kind of giggling to herself, not breaking any of this up because this is the most entertainment she's had in a while.
And that turns into 5, by the way.
You got 5 degrees of success. Congratulations. I think that you've made a friend. Do you think that that's a fair assessment of the situation?
I think that's a fair assessment. I think this guy likes that I fight back, but he likes that I'm willing to carry my own weight. And I don't know if I'm still trying to clock whether I think he likes me in other ways. And I'm ready and willing to use all of it to my advantage.
Yeah, you haven't sussed out his sexual orientation yet, but you are certain that you've hit a nerve in like he's very defensive right now, and you've managed to kind of calm him down. And studying him, you realize that he's very deferential to Rowan, and that in this dynamic, Rowan is clearly in charge, and that he overextends himself because he's trying to be the heavy so that Rowan can more or less come in and be the hero.
I'm going to lean in on him as I like kind of getting a closer look at him. I'm a little clearer headed, and I'm going to like just not too firmly, but I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder also because I need to balance myself a little bit. I'm going to say, look, no hard feelings. We've all taken losses. You're doing your best and you're doing a great job. Let's just move forward on the same team. You guys lost people back there. I lost people back there. It's tough for all of us.
You're right.
We're on the same side.
No, I am sorry. I shouldn't have lost my temper. It is a problem. You saw the thing out there. You saw what it did.
I did.
It was out of control. I have never seen anything like that in my life.
You guys, we've seen and heard more that's going to be even so much more unsettling than what that was.
I mean, hope not.
We think we heard one of them using a chainsaw at some point not long ago. They're using weapons where we see them running. We saw that thing. I mean, let's just stick together, man. Let's just stick together.
It fucking talked to us.
It did. I vaguely remember, but now that you mention it, it is kind of coming back to me, and that's why we need all of us. Come on, let's go.
No, you are right, and I am sorry.
And,
all right. No, you're okay. Let's move. And he does like hold you close as he pulls you up and shoulders a lot more of your weight than he was before, helping you out considerably. I'm going to reduce a difficulty dice. So in future endurance checks and things, you only have to roll 2.
Thank you.
But you still need medical attention very quickly. As the 3 of you continue down the corridor, I'm sorry, but you've not made any of the spot listen checks that I've asked you for. And that is deeply unfortunate. In the corridor before you, you see a backpack. Large, military-styled backpack that has been tossed across the ground. There are a number of VHS tapes that are scattered out from it. There is a smear of blood.
All right, guys, stand back. I don't know what this is up here. That does not look promising. And Rowan's going to try and hold the lantern a little closer to the area to see if it'll light up anything around there that might be moving or anything like that.
You hold the lantern up, and Lampwick, you see a quiver of arrows that have scattered out through the corridor. You recognize them. They belong to Juniper.
Whoa. This is these arrows that's from one of my crew. Help me, I say to Philippe.
All right. He helps you to move wherever you want.
I'm gonna get closer. If I find an arrow near me, it's not too far away from where Rowan is, I'm gonna approach it and I want to just kind of examine it.
Rowan draws her gun not to point at Lampwick, but to kind of hold cover that if anything does kind of jump out. Anything that looks like it might have attacked whoever he knows that left this here, she's gonna just stay drawn and be ready to shoot in case anything surprising happens.
The lantern, as you press it forward, flickers across the cavern wall, and you see what you've been missing. There is a figure standing there in the darkness. Their back is to you. They are not moving. A ragged-looking shirt is soaked in blood. Their right arm is dripping gore. Their left arm, you see bone as flesh has been torn down all the way.
I shoot it.
You pull the trigger. Please make a roll for me.
I'm going to take out my pistol.
Your intention is to take out your pistol?
Mm-hmm.
Rowan, you have 1 degree of success. The gunshot hits center mass on the back of the figure, and it sways forward.
Ah, shit.
It slowly turns around, and you see the face of a man you do not recognize. It is gaunt. Its eyes are deep, empty black, and there is a network of veins across gray skin. It works its way down this individual's neck, and their mouth is hung slack.
This has been a wonderful reunion, Lampwick. Maybe we should go the other way.
The figure turns and faces all of you.
That's not one of my friends. Take it out.
It takes 1 step forward.
I
And
shoot.
we're going to take a short break. In 10 minutes, we're going to return and we will resolve this situation. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you again for joining us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Twitch.tv. This is Hunter's Entertainment. We are playing Outbreak Undead in our very special campaign of Rag and Bone. The survivors that are gathered here have found themselves deep within the mines somewhere in Pennsylvania, what used to be known as Pennsylvania before the fall of the world. You see, a virus took most of the life on planet Earth in 1995. It has cleared the playing field. Nature now resumes its control and dominance over this place. And the dead now far outnumber the living. There is little hope. But still, there are those who try to find a way. Within these mines, a number of individuals are desperately seeking safety, hoping to find themselves in a position that will allow them to survive one more day. Currently, all of you, as part of this journey, have been interacting with our scry software. We are intrigued by your choices, and we entreat you to please continue. They will affect how this story unfolds. Kusanagi, you continue to move forward. The 2 individuals that are surrounding you have not lessened their suspicions. The one known as Achira seems to be easier to communicate with. The other individual is cold. Moving forward with the light ahead of her, you see her silhouette as she continues to push forward. Behind you, you know that that gun is still close at hand. What do you do?
I hang back a little bit so that I'm closer to Achira than I am to the doctor. And I say under my voice, so this this woman, is she the first Aunt Viv or the second Aunt Viv?
Achira chuckles and tries to keep it low. Definitely the first Aunt Viv.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I was always a purist.
As in, I don't know how it ended up working out, but there's no way that the actress that was the first Aunt Viv would have ever let that sit. That's what she is. That's what I mean when I say the first Aunt Viv.
Noted. Thank you.
The doctor
one thing,
ahead of you. Oh, go ahead, please.
One thing, I don't really get to talk to people much about movies. There was someone that I was talking to about that, but she didn't make it. Did you ever think that the Mighty Ducks franchise, that they would have made a third one? Like, I think that there was a lot more there that they could have worked with. I mean, yeah, they took out Iceland, but there's a whole lot of other hockey teams that they could have, battled with after that. That could have been a whole franchise, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think like all great art, it really could have supported having a trilogy, you know?
The doctor stops and begins to clear away more rubble, and you see another inset in the wall and another carved name, DiMaggio. It's this way.
I don't have a reference for that.
Well, I know Joe DiMaggio. I think it's a baseball thing.
Yeah, baseball guy. You don't know who made these markings?
I need you two to remain quiet while we move forward. Is that all right?
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, it makes complete sense. And Achira just kind of like shakes herself, like, of course that makes sense. Repoints the gun at Kusanagi and is like, go on.
She continues down the darkened hallway, and everyone can make a spot listen check. You have no difficulty dice added to the roll, but I would like for you to add a speed dice, please.
I've only used my recon gear for stealth. Spot listen would just be like regular, yeah?
Yeah, it would be a regular roll for you.
Just making sure. And only one speed dice?
Only one speed dice, please.
Okay, thank you.
You're still thinking very much, Achira, about the conversation that you and Kusanagi were having. You fail with 5 degrees of difficulty. In fact, I'm not going to have you make another spot listen check while we are dealing with the current situation. Kusanagi, however, you have 3 degrees of success. Your ears perk up as in the distance, further down the passageway to the right, you hear something. It is a shuffling sound. And then a gunshot. It is a sharp crack. And the chamber echoes this sound, and you have pinpointed it to the right corridor.
Excuse me, you two. There's movement. And I think I heard a shot in the distance. Off to the right.
Everyone hears the gunshot. However, Kusanagi, you're the only one who's able to pinpoint the direction that it came from. The doctor stops and looks back to you, Achira.
We should probably switch places. Let me go ahead and let me take a look. You keep your gun on him.
Yeah, that won't be a problem. She turns and points the gun at Kusanagi.
Achira's gonna stealth in the direction that Kusanagi pointed.
Will you accept an average result of your stealth, or would you like to roll for it?
I'm gonna do an average.
You carefully and quietly move down the corridor. Kusanagi, you and the doctor wait. It is a tense moment, as you can tell that the doctor doesn't trust you. Achira, you continue to move down, and there is a flicker of light. You see the flame from a lantern casting an orange dancing light on the ground just a distance ahead of you. You continue to poke yourself further and further through the shadows. Eventually, you see figures, and you hear a voice. The voice of Lampwick. That ain't one of ours. What do you do? What is your intention?
So apart from the light that's near the figures, they would see that the tunnel is dark, right? Where I would be. I would take my lighter out and light it underneath my face so that they could see that I'm there, another light, and the darkness in my face illuminated.
Understood. You do light your lighter. They are not facing you. And you see around the corridor that they are facing another entrance. They seem to be confronting something, and they're not moving towards you. Do you wish to still light your face?
I had it changed around in my head. So I'm behind them or to the side of them?
You are behind them.
Then I'll literally just do a Lampwick.
You are whispering. Lampwick and Rowan, I would like for you both to make spot listen checks, but I also need to know what your intention is.
Well,
given the situation that you're in.
Immediately before this, I was about to take a shot at the thing that was right in front of me. But if, as I'm pulling my gun up, something calls my attention to change that, we'll see.
Let's see how that resolves itself. Roll your spot listen, please.
Difficulty die?
You have 2 difficulty dice. You have 1 degree of success, which is enough to hear something. You hear someone whisper your name. You are not certain who, but they are behind you.
I will turn around because that's something.
Before you tell me anything else, there's something else that I need to describe to you. Rowan, Philippe, and Lampwick stand before the ragged, dead figure of a strange man. He is heavily muscled, large, and wearing ragged clothing that looks as if very recently it might have been upon one of your fellow survivors. On the center of his forehead, there is a circle that has been carved. And there is a glyph in the center of it. His mouth hangs open, and black, viscous ooze drips down the front of his bloodied chest. His arms, powerfully muscled, are torn apart. You see bone and muscle, tendon, and exposed flesh underneath the skin that has been shredded. The shot that Rowan has placed in its back passed all the way through. And as the figure turns, you see that the wound weeps with a heavy black fluid. It stops and for a moment looks to all of you with deep black, empty eyes. And when I say black, empty eyes, you've never seen anything like this. Its intention is clear as it rushes towards you. Lampwick and Rowan, you have weapons trained, as does Philippe. Tell me what your intentions are.
At that, I'm definitely taking a shot.
I'll take another shot as well.
As does Philippe. Lampwick, you do have 2 degrees of difficulty given your horrid state of being.
Right.
You are heavily injured. Also, please each roll me. I need 2 speed dice from you, Lampwick, and I need 1 speed dice from you, Rowan.
Excellent. Speed dice is blue.
Blue dice, please. You do have 1 degree of success. Lampwick, your shot will be a failure unless you wish to change that.
I'm okay with that for now.
You will be operating late in the round. Achira, could you please roll a single speed dice for me, please? Very well. Rowan, you're going to be acting first. Your gun shot rings out again, and you have struck your opponent a second time. The gunshot rips into the side of this individual and slows it as it charges forward.
May I, even with a success, use my competency points to make that a more accurate and more lethal shot?
You absolutely may. You only have 3 of them. How many do you wish to spend?
I'm going to spend 2 and make that, was that 3 degrees of success now?
Indeed it is. The figure jolts backwards and drops to the ground at your gunshot. It's on its back, and it is still moving, twitching horribly as a geyser of this black fluid erupts from its mouth and nose as it shrieks. Its body undulates on the ground in front of you. Your gunshot rings out through the corridors. Luis, do you choose for Lampwick's pistol shot to still miss?
I don't have enough degree. I don't have enough competency points to make it a success. So I'm gonna suck up the 3 failures.
Philippe's semi-automatic rifle peppers this form as an open spray lands on the creature on the ground. We've got to get the fuck out of here.
Is the creature still moving after he sprays it with the shots?
It is still jolting on the ground. However, it is heavily damaged, peppered with these gunshots. Large pools of this black fluid have erupted behind it where the bullets have passed through the flesh and erupted onto the other side.
How far away is it from the tapes that Juniper had dropped?
The tapes are 5 feet away from you. The creature is 20.
I would like to grab the tapes on the way, moving away from it.
You're going to step forward and grab the tapes while Lampwick and Philippe retreat backwards into the tunnel behind you. Achira, on 8, you also are acting. Is there anything that you wish to do as you hear some horrid creature, some form of Romero in front of you, gunshot, and then you see the silhouettes of your companion Lampwick and the others moving back towards you. You do recognize both Rowan and the other gunfighter that was with Rowan that you had run across outside while you were defending Grey Ridge.
Achira's gonna do another shot at the Romero. It's not a good idea to keep this thing moving with us in a mine shaft.
You're using your long gun.
Yes.
You will not be able to do so from your current position.
Okay.
It is far too risky, as the other three would be in your way. If you wish to fire, you're going to have to reveal yourself and step forward. Meanwhile, while you're making that decision, Kusanagi, you hear gunfighting and strange guttural sounds of some twisted form of undead further down in the tunnel. The doctor looks worried. What would you like to do?
I turn to the doctor and I say, we need to help. We need to help her. I'm going to go help her. You should come too. We should both go.
All right. Let's go. And both of you begin moving forward.
All right. I unsheathe my gun and ready it and move forward.
Are you trying to be quiet while you do this, Kusanagi?
No. I'm checking the sides to make sure there's nothing going to come in between me and there, but I'm moving purposefully.
The two of you move quickly, but carefully, down the corridor towards where Achira disappeared. As you do, you see the flicker of light. Achira, did you make a decision?
Yes, Achira's going to reveal herself and take a shot at the Romero. She's trying to kill it, put it down.
Lampwick, you see Achira appear with a gun next to you as she fires into the Romero on the ground. Rowan has moved forward and grabs the backpack, ducking out of the way as you are firing. However, should this shot go catastrophically wrong, Achira, Rowan will be in the line of sight. Would you please make a roll for me now?
I really should put some stuff into long gun for my training value bonus. But that's something to do at a different time.
Raising your weapon, you level it upon the creature on the ground that is twitching, this black fluid bathing it as it's trying to pull itself desperately up.
Achira loves headshots.
If you spend a single competency point, I'll give it to you.
I think with the long gun, 4 crits.
Oh, 4 does bring it down because it is a long gun. I stand corrected. Achira steps forward, aims the rifle, and there is a sharp crack as the gunfire lands directly into the creature's head, and it falls limp to the ground. It is no longer moving.
Now, in this moment, Philippe and I have turned around, right? So what we saw was Rowan, as we turned around, Rowan moved past us to get the tapes, and then the gun go off from Achira. Is that right?
It is correct, except that Philippe did not turn you around. Mm-hmm. Philippe is backing into the corridor with you, gun still raised at this thing. It is a slow pacing backwards. Achira charged past you, and Rowan darted forward to grab this bag. You are seeing the entire thing.
The one thing I would do the moment I see Rowan kind of move forward is I would press my weight on Philippe to kind of stop him, because that's our friend now. So I want to show him that my impulse wasn't to get the hell out of there when I saw her step into danger. I want to show him that my impulse was to back her up.
Noted. Philippe stops, looks to you surprised, nods, and then continues to cover Rowan.
And I'm doing the same thing with him, with my pistol, just in case there's anything else coming out of that corridor.
Nothing else arrives. Everything is quiet. Rowan, you back up. Immediately, a stranger appears next to you, Lampwick. Someone you haven't met before. You see the doctor, who glares at you. Kusanagi, would you like to describe yourself again?
I have long hair, and I'm holding a pistol, and I'm moving forward. And I have basically a VCR with a strap on it, slung over my body. And yeah, I mean, I look very much like someone who's a trader who's out on the road a lot of the time.
As soon as I see all this kind of come together, I'm gonna take half a step forward, and I'm gonna put my hand up to Kusanagi, who's got his gun kind of pointed at us. Whoa! Settle down.
We're with her.
Yes, and we're with her too. And I look at Achira.
Oh, well, then we're with you.
Looks to be the case, and I walk straight up to Achira, and I put my gun in my belt, and I just kind of collapse on you.
Achira has to drop her long gun because she wasn't expecting it, and then like grabs Lampwick and is like, and just like hugs him tight, and then realizes his injury.
Yeah,
not so tight.
Lampwick almost falls into you, and you realize that this hug has turned into you supporting Lampwick, and you feel wet slickness across you as you realize that he's bleeding from multiple places.
And you even hear her say, you hear her say for a second, oh gosh, where is it? You hear her say for a second, I got you, Blaine. Lampwick.
It looks like something, maybe you knocked your head a little bit, but yeah, I kind of need you to get me a little bit. It's and I kind of like separate, and I look you right in your eyes. It is very good to see you. And I had the was it the arrow that I found that belonged to Juniper?
There is on the ground a quiver of arrows that have been scattered across the rocky cavern floor, and there's also the one that you picked up. Yes.
And I show that to you. I don't know about the rest of us.
I haven't run into Abigail. I haven't seen her at all.
I haven't either, and this is definitely Juniper's.
Kusanagi, make me a spot listen, please. It is a straight roll with no additions to it. With 1 degree of success, it takes you a moment as these two are reuniting. Rowan, what are you doing?
I'm going to gather up the tapes if they've kind of all spread out or fallen out of the bag, and I'm going to put them back in the pack and throw them over my shoulder. And when I see Lampwick and Achira hugging, I'm going to walk over to the doctor and put my arm around her and pull her real close and go, look at that, a big happy reunion.
Fuck you, Rowan.
Oh, I know you'd like to.
Kusanagi, you realize that the pack that this woman is holding belongs to Blockbuster, and that the figure on the ground is Blockbuster.
Well, I guess I found Blockbuster.
Achira hears this and looks over at him, and then kind of glances back over at the figure.
What has he got on his forehead?
Did he not have that before?
No.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, and I'm like leaning on Achira. There's a lot that we need to talk about, but I need some help. I'm not doing so well. Barely getting back on my feet.
Yeah.
I have a kit. I can help, but we should go somewhere with better light and only one point of access.
I think we should let the doctor take a look at him at this point. He's been slugging his way through this cave. Doc, it's called a Hippocratic oath, not a hypocritical oath. You might want to, check that out.
Can I try to ascertain like whether I've gathered at this point that there's tension between Rowan and the doctor. I want to see if I can clock to what extent. Like, is this playful or is this true animosity?
I wish that you had seen the swimming hole flashback, but I'm sort of glad that you hadn't. Yes, I'd like for you to make... Let's have you... Does
this fall under detect motives?
Yeah, let's do detect motives on this. I think that does make the most sense. You don't have any degrees of, or any dice of difficulty that will be added to it.
Got it.
Socially, you are very capable.
That turns into 4 successes.
Yes, in this moment, Lampwick, you are able to understand that this relationship is very, we'll say, nuanced. There is a threatening manner to much of what Rowan is doing. The doctor is very defensive, but beneath the doctor's bluster, you sense real fear.
Got it. Doc, you were going to take a look at this earlier. It's now a good time.
Achira puts a hand over Lampwick's mouth and then looks over at the doc and is like, Maria, we talked about this.
I'm never going to forget what you did to Chuckwagon.
Are you talking to me?
I'm never going to forget what you did to Chuckwagon.
And Lampwick, you feel Achira's hand like tighten on your mouth.
Wait. No. And I very gently remove this. And I look at Achira with a big what the fuck look on my face. If what you're trying to get at is me burdening myself and leaning on him, then I apologize, because I had no intention on getting into the state that I'm in right now. Otherwise, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. She moves and walks past you and shoulders you as she continues down the corridor.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to help him? We find the safe house. There are cots. There are medical supplies. We get to safety. I'll save Lampwick. But then he's your problem, not mine.
I'm going to need somebody to do a little bit of patching up right now, because I need a little attention.
Hey, new kid, you want to take a shot at it since the doctor's being kind of a...
No, I'll do it. At this point, she stops and she moves closer to you. She takes her bag, she opens it. She looks at your wounds. She has you sit down. She hands you a strip of leather that used to be a belt. You're going to want to bite on this. Nothing that I'm about to do is going to feel good.
I take it and I bite on it.
The doctor, with the bedside manner of a mountain lion, pulls up your shirt and looks at your wound and disinfects it and begins not only cleaning the wound. Achira, give me your lighter.
Achira hands it right over.
She takes it, taking a strip of cloth off of her jacket. She rips it and wraps it around the end of a bit of metal that she pulls out from one of her bags. And once it's fully wrapped, she douses it in what looks like some form of heavy grain alcohol. She lights it with a Chira's lighter and lets it burn for a few moments in front of you.
Oh.
And meeting your eyes, Lampwick, she presses it into your wound after she lets it burn so that it's nice and red on the cloth, and just make sure that that metal goes directly into that piercing wound. And there is a sizzle of flesh, and it does cauterize the wound, but it fills the cavern with this sickening smell. And I need you to make an endurance check, and you do have 3 dice of difficulty.
Got it. Oof.
You do not pass out, but you wish that you had.
Right.
Make a resist pain with the same number of difficulty dice. Meanwhile, is there anything that the rest of you wish to do while the doctor works? This is going to take around 15 minutes.
Achira's going to scout ahead a bit. Well, she's usually not one to interact much with people, so she'll just like kind of look over at Rowan, who she saw on the battlefield and who had listened to her when she was like sputtering out that one there kind of a thing, and we'll do like a nod over to her. We'll pick back up the long gun, and then like it's pretty obvious, she would think, to Rowan that she's about to scout ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she would do that.
I have no problem with that silent communication. Philippe seems impatient, but is standing somewhat protectively over Lampwick, and you can tell that he has his hand rested on his pistol, watching the doctor. Kusanagi, in this moment, what are you doing?
I'd like to approach Rowan. What is she doing?
Rowan?
Rowan was kind of eyeing Kusanagi at the moment because she doesn't know who this guy is, but she's also keeping one eye on Achira, who's scouting ahead and kind of looking between all three of the situations, but mostly kind of giving a very confused, inquisitive look to the new kid.
So, I guess I should thank you. Whatever did that to him, he wouldn't have wanted to be like that.
Who? You knew that guy?
I mean, I'd only met him a couple times, but he was a legend among my people. He was a tape trader. He collected stuff from the old world, like me. And I pat the VCR that I have slung over across my body.
Oh, shit. Look at you, new kid.
Yeah, I if we can get to some power, I have a lot of movies. I have TV shows. I have all sorts of stuff.
Maybe you can help me figure out what's on these. And she'll fling the pack around and kind of open it up and kind of go, don't get too close. Just, there's a lot of...
Were those blockbusters?
I don't know who they belong to. They were over there by your friend. They might have been, but I'll tell you what, if they're his, I'll give them to you. If they're not, I keep them.
I mean, either way, they're probably worth a lot in barter. You sure you're okay with that?
We'll see. I mean, here's the thing. I do everything tit for tat, so if I do give them to you, you still owe me something in the future. Just remember that.
Sure. I mean, we could look at them together if you want. I mean, I could appraise them for you too, and then however you want to split them is cool with me. I mean, I'm just excited to try to find stuff that I haven't had yet.
I think that sounds like a deal. What's your name, new kid?
Kusanagi.
Yeah, I'm Rowan. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you. You're pretty handy. Were you in the service?
Yeah, is it that obvious?
I mean, I don't know. I've watched a lot of a lot of movies, and I can tell by the way like somebody moves, like if they know what they're doing.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate you sucking up. That's mighty
Oh, was
good.
it that obvious? I mean, you also seem a little scary. Let's be real.
Right. Well, how'd you find these fine folk?
Well, they kind of found me. I was lost. I was in here looking for, well, him.
Well, good news is you found him. Bad news is you found him.
Yeah. I mean, normally I'd feel like, well, we shouldn't leave him here, but like, it just seems like an unnecessary risk to like mess with his body. And I mean, if we have these tapes, I guess those are his real legacy.
Yeah, I suppose so. Why don't we go take a look at where your friend over there, pretty friend's gone. What was her name? Achira, I believe. Why don't we go see what she's looking for? Maybe we can find some kind of power source while the doc cleans up Lampwick over there.
I'll keep
Oh,
an
yeah.
eye on them, yeah?
And thank you, Philippe. That's why you're my favorite.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if this is a mine, it's got to have some sort of station in it somewhere.
Achira, you are stealthing forward. Are you accepting an average result, or would you like to make a roll?
Is there a possibility that while they were talking, that I did a quick pat down of Blockbuster's body because Achira loots?
Mm-hmm.
I'll roll for it if you'd like.
It's the apocalypse. Everybody loots. Sometimes.
You
That
can
should
make
be a shirt. Everybody loots sometimes.
You can make a search check if you like, but it will delay you.
I'm okay with that. This is kind of what she does. So
Understood.
another reason why she has stolen from Lampwick and other people. I don't know what the training value bonus does, but I'm guessing it does not pertain in this situation.
It will not in this situation.
Got it. Achira loots a lot. He's gotten real good at looting.
You take everything of value off of the body as it lies there. There are clearly signs that someone has already done this. There are pouches that have been forcibly cut away, and items seem to be already removed from this body. However, in one side pouch, you do find a plain white clamshell VHS box, and on the front of it, ... dash dot.
Achira puts that, in her pack. Definitely. And I guess metagaming it, we'll check with Alex with other tiny stuff that she might have found.
You do find a pair of nunchucks.
That might be good for bartering. So Achira takes them.
Very well. There are a number of small throwing knives. And there is a bottle of pills and a boot knife.
Boot knife and pills, definitely.
Understood. You then begin to stealth down the corridor, and as you're gone, you do not find anything in the further passageway ahead of you. There are 3 divergent paths that you find. It splits in a T, one to the left and one to the right. Further up that corridor is a third passageway that leads deeper down on a very steep incline. Now, all of this said, the doctor Rowan, Kusanagi, and Lampwick, finishes her work and very roughly wraps a bandage around you, Lampwick. You do not feel better. However, you are not bleeding.
I'll take it.
This piece of shit should live long enough for us to be able to get to safety.
Look, Doc, we need to clear the air because you have an impression of me that is not right. And I'd like to take a moment to point out to you that you seem to have an impression of Chuck Wagon, who you should know really well. You seem to have an impression of him that isn't really right either. He, to me, was the only one amongst your group that actually seemed to have a kind heart. And whatever you think happened, the real thing was that he helped me escape because we were getting dragged down. And you tell me, is he the kind of person that would or would not sacrifice himself to help somebody else? Because whatever it is that you think you saw, he pushed me away as he was going down.
Your persuade is going to have to be astronomically high for this to work.
Mm-hmm.
She witnessed you very clearly because we made rolls to see how she reacted, how stealthy you were in doing that action, and you failed and she very, very much succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're effectively convincing her is a very far stretch, my friend. However, if anyone could do it, I believe that Lampwick would be able to. So with 3 dice of difficulty, I would like for you to make for me a persuade check.
Is this a coax at all?
Is this a coax? I don't feel like this is a coax, as you are not bartering or offering anything. There's not a back and forth. You are strictly trying to convince her. So I would say no, it is not. And before anyone gets too excited, we are not making a shirt.
I would like to use all 3 competency points to make that into 2 successes, which, now you can tell me, does that activate my skill? Because it, by definition, becomes a success.
Yes, it activates your skill, which raises your successes to how many, Lampwick?
5.
Yes, he would have done that for you.
And then I look her dead in the eyes and I said, then that means that I owe you, because that was your guy that gave himself up for me. And I'm not the kind of person that likes to stay in debt to somebody else. So I got you.
Kusanagi. Oh, go ahead, please.
I'm seeing, look, and I'm not telling her, I was like, and I kind of gesture towards Rowan. And I say to the doc, look, I'm not a fool. I read people. I know who likes you here and who doesn't. I'll be a buffer for you.
You can tell that she doesn't like you, but you think in this moment, Lampwick, that you have succeeded.
She don't gotta like me right now to be able to like me later. Just need a little bit of an end.
Kusanagi, I'd like for you to make a sense motive check as you are overhearing a little bit of this. You aren't certain, but you think that Lampwick just played this doctor. You aren't certain. You can't say for any definitive manner as to whether or not what he just did is what you think he might have done. But if he did, he's very good. The doctor helps you up, Lampwick. Philippe immediately shoulders you, and Philippe kind of protectively keeps you away from the doctor, shuffling you so that he is in between you and the doctor. As you are cradled carefully by Philippe as you are moved further down the corridor closer to Rowan. Kusanagi, you and Rowan were having a conversation. What was the result of that conversation?
I think Rowan wanted to go find Achira.
And so, Rowan, do the two of you turn then to make your way as the doctor and Philippe help Lampwick up?
Yes.
The doctor stops you. Hold on. She moves over to another wall and brushes away a large amount of debris, rocks, and bits of metal. And as the doctor does this, she reveals a name that has been etched into the side of the cavern wall. Garrig. We need to go down this corridor and then to the right.
What's down there?
The safe house. It's close. Assuming that we're still in agreement.
Yeah, you got any power down there, Doc?
We have a generator, yes.
Oh shit, why didn't you say that earlier? All right, let's go.
Achira, you are still ahead of the rest of the group. The rest of them are slowly making their way behind you. What would you like to do as you get further down this corridor?
Well, Achira isn't certain which direction that they would want to go for either the connecting to the basement or to the safe house that the doctor wanted to go on. So at that point, she would kind of hold, and I guess she would examine the tape that she looted off a Blockbuster. And I would love to see if, like, out of the plethora of movies and stuff that she had, consumed as a 90s kid, if she might be able to parse out what the dots and the dashes mean.
You flick your lighter in this corridor, and the small spark illuminates the tape in front of you. You see the dashes and the dots, and it comes to you in a realization that you've seen this before. Station 113.
Oh. Oh. Well, this is important then. Important enough to share or important enough to hide?
You have possession of the tape, so the choice is entirely up to you.
Achira thinks of the new person that has a VCR attached to them, and then also thinks of her Pretty in Pink VHS that she stole like a while ago and has been raring to watch, and that nobody else knows that she has. And then she says out loud, "Important enough to share." And she flicks her lighter closed and holds her ground because she's certain that they'll continue forward to where she is, to where the path branches off.
A few minutes later, you are correct. The rest of the survivors join you in the darkened corridor. You see the light first, and you hear their shuffle as they continue to press forward. Lampwick is moving raggedly, but is alive.
Well, fancy meeting all you here. What's a crew like you doing in a mine shaft like this?
The doctor looks to you. There is one more corridor. It's going to be behind a series of rocks. We're going to have to do a little work to uncover it. We wanted to keep it safe. It's this way.
I got your back, Doc. And Achira looks over at the group. Her eyes linger on Lampwick the longest. Uh, Kusanagi, she does like a little head tilt for, and then Rowan, she does like a little nod down for, and then follows the doc.
You make your way further down the corridor. You turn a number of times, and the dock does stop in front of a large area on one wall that seems like a dead end. The wood here is still forming a very stout looking frame. However, the entire facing in front of you seems to be a collapse. The doctor moves and begins shuffling stone and debris out of the way. She looks back at all of you.
I guess we gotta help, huh?
I think you rest and let us do the heavy work. Hey, Philippe, you want to help with this? You tough girl. I like your style, by the way. That headshot, real nice.
I don't like Romeros, especially when they aren't like normal Romeros.
Speaking of headshots, there was something on his forehead, wasn't there?
It's called
Yeah. No. There was something carved, like a symbol, and he was not the body modification type. Well, I mean, unless you count working out.
Kusanagi, can you draw it in the dust so that we know it? Like draw it in the ground so that we know it to see it?
Yeah, and I do that. I draw the symbol that I saw on his body.
There's a jagged symbol inside of a circle that is now drawn on the dust.
I think that's it. It
Anyone
was dark
ever
and I
see
was
that before?
kind of emotional, but yeah, this should be it.
Anybody know what this means? Anyone see this before?
It's weird. I mean,
Did any of us have a reaction to it?
I mean, I know that Blockbuster had like codes and he used symbols, but this doesn't look like one of his symbols. And he wouldn't have put it on his own body. He usually hid his symbols on like tapes and stuff.
No one here recognizes it.
All right.
All right, well, let's get to digging then.
Mm-hmm. I'll just like kind of lean up against the wall and have my hand on the pistol and looking out kind of towards where we came from to just keep eyes on that.
Make a spot licit check for me, Lampwick. You have 2 dice of difficulty that will be added to this.
Got it.
The rest of you continue to work, and the labor is intense, but most of the stones are fairly large, making them easy to move out of the way. The debris quickly falls away, and in half an hour, a large metal door is exposed. The doctor stops and retrieves a large, very flat key from her pouch and inserts it into a lock on the bottom of this doorway. She then pushes it inward, and there is a painful metal on metal screeching noise that echoes through the chamber as a large, empty corridor is before you. It is cold air that rushes up first, but then beyond the stale air, it no longer smells like a cave. 3 degrees of failure, Lampwick. You do not hear anything at all in the distance.
I'm still preoccupied with knowing that we have evidence of at least one of our companions down here.
The doctor stops. This is it.
I'm going to stumble towards Achira. Hey, we know Juniper's down here. Abigail's probably down here too. I'm not in any kind of state. I need to get in there. I need to get better. I certainly don't want you going out there alone, but as soon as we can, we owe it to them to at least take a look.
Well, I don't have any problem with dark corner and spaces.
No, I know you don't.
Well, actually, that was me making a joke to myself.
I still heard it.
Let's get in this room, figure things out, and then after that I can scout around to see what's what. But I do know that Juniper and especially Abigail are spry. I would not be surprised if either of them weren't just in here just trying to find their way out.
Yeah.
No matter what you found with Juniper's arrows. Both of them are very tough. And it almost sounds like Achira's trying to talk herself into that.
I'm buying into it 100%. I mean, I hear you. We didn't see Juniper. If anything had happened to them, we would have found them.
Yeah, did you see the muscles on that guy turned Romero?
Mm-hmm. Well, some of them, he was missing some of his arms, so I'm sure Juniper probably had a hand in that if her arrows were around there.
You know how much she likes taking out people's arms. That's just like a weird thing that she does, and it's always the left one. I don't know.
Really weird thing about people's arms, I know.
Probably Juniper and Abigail are around here just running together. It's fine.
Well, I need to get in there. I need to lay down.
The doctor looks to all of you. I'm going to need someone to hold the light near the generator while I fill it with gas.
I mean, I can do that. It's just holding a light.
The doctor begins descending downward, handing you a lantern. And as the two of you descend, you're going first. Kusanagi, you see that this is a large room. It seems to have been very carefully shored up, and it's much cleaner than any of the other chambers that you've been in inside of this mine shaft. It is by no means a finished room. There's not poured concrete or anything of that nature. However, it has been very meticulously carved to be a lot more level. And inside of it, there are a number of army cots that have been laid out. There is a couch on one side. There are cabinets and what looks like an operating table on another end of this.
I don't want to enter the room itself. Mm-hmm. I just want to stop at the entrance and swing the lantern around and go, well, where's this generator? But I'm not putting any part of my body into the room.
Smart. Further down across the way, you do see what looks like a glint of metal, and as you're shining this light through the space, there does seem to be a generator in a corner with a number of large tin tubings that the pipes are leading them out so as to be able to vent the exhaust. And there are a large number of caged shelves, and they are all locked up with big, heavy padlocks. Behind it, you see a number of weapons and some large boxes. Some are wood, some are metal, but all of it seems fairly clean. There is a table, like a dining table, as well as a number of chairs seated around it. And there are even stacks of books that have been wrapped in plastic and left over in a corner. And there are a couple of filing cabinets as well. There is a mirror and what looks like a makeshift bathroom that has been constructed with a low privacy stall around it. However, you can tell just from here that it's little more than a series of buckets. The doctor doesn't hesitate and begins walking in, and seeing you stop, she turns back.
You're the only one who has a key to this, right?
No. There are others. It was considered the best practice for 3 of us to have keys. I don't know where the other 2 are.
Who are the other two that have the keys?
Sanderson has a set, and then a third was left inside of the house, locked behind a vault.
Well, I guess we are the music makers. We are the dreamers of the dreams. And Chira continues forward where Kusanagi hesitated. She just walks forward.
I'll get the power running. And she walks over to the generator, unlocks one of the cabinets with the keys that she's produced, and you can see canisters of gasoline in there. There are perhaps 6 large containers. She fills the generator and starts it, and there is a loud sputter. It does fill the room with a vibration, and it is very hard to hear anything else for a short amount of time until it begins to sputter. And she pulls from that cage that's locked up. She unlocks it and enters in, opens up a cabinet, and pulls out a series of these very heavy quilted blankets that she pins onto a frame and sets that around the generator. It does seem to baffle a great amount of the sound coming from the generator. Lights flicker on, and Lampwick, as you enter into the space, you see the cots to one side.
I immediately go to that. I'm tired of standing. I need to lay down.
You collapse onto a cot. Rowan, what do you do?
I'm looking around and waiting to see once the generator's up. I'm gonna look at Kusanagi and be like, "Well, I think that's our cue to start the movie theater up."
Yeah. I wonder if they have like a monitor down here that I can plug into.
Doc.
You know, like the little TV.
Yes, we have a small TV. It's for the twins if we were to bring them down here, but she unpacks it and brings out a very small old television from the 80s.
It's great though. I mean, they really knew how to make them back then.
I don't know that it works, so good luck.
Oh, I can make it work. I can make it work.
Great. Look, I'm going to go close the door behind us and make sure that we're locked in here. And she walks up the corridor and out of sight. You have a television.
Chira.
Chira looks over at Lampwick, getting her attention, and looks over at the monitor, well, the TV screen, and then Kusanagi next to it and Rowan next to him, and like looks at Lampwick again.
Doc, you there? And I'm looking at Chira and pointing at where the doc went.
The doctor has stepped into the corridor.
She's got the only key, and she can lock us in here.
Chira follows the doc. Is everything good here?
I'd like for you to roll a speed die, please. That's a 1.
Mm-hmm.
I literally could not have rolled lower.
Indeed. What are the rest of you doing while Achira rushes into the corridor after the doctor?
If I don't hear the doctor respond, then I'm going to start to get up out of the cot, and I'm going to look at Philippe. Philippe?
It's Philippe.
Philippe. And say, Philippe, hey, I think that doctor's the only one with the key. And I think she might be trying to lock us in here. We need eyes on her. Philippe, I'm letting everybody know.
Draws his gun and follows Achira. Achira, you enter into the corridor. And you see the doctor closing it and locking it. She's on the same side as you. She turns and you see tears running down her face. And she presses her back up against it and slides down, putting her hands into over her face. She begins sobbing.
What's going on here, Maria? Talk to me. I knew what you were doing the second that you came out here because you already did it before. And I could have done something more drastic than this about it. So I need for you to talk to me right now.
I gave up. I didn't go back to the house. I led you here. I made a choice. Lampwick wasn't going to make it, so I brought you here. It's probably cost whoever's alive in the house their lives. But I can't stay here. And I can't let them run wild in these mine shafts. So I need to make another choice, Achira. I'm going to give you the key. But I have to go.
Do I hear any of this?
Well, you don't hear, you hear talking. So you heard the door close. You heard the lock. You don't hear any shouting or anything like that. But then Philippe shows up with a gun drawn. What the fuck is happening? Achira, say something. Do you need me to shoot this crazy bitch?
Okay, so it's not like a heavy door, like a steel door kind of a thing. Like he might be able to shoot through it.
No. She's on the same side that you are.
No. But I mean, like Felipe saying that to me, like he might be able to shoot through this door.
No, he's standing behind you. He has the gun drawn. He's asking you if you want him to shoot the doctor. You're
okay.
on the same side.
We're all still on the inside.
When I heard same side, I heard like political, like same side, not like we're on the same side of the
You
door.
are on physically the same side of the door. She's closed it. She's locked all of you in, including herself, and then she breaks down and she's sobbing on the interior of the door.
Okay.
And what she has explained to you is that in saving Lampwick and
got
bringing
survivor
Lampwick
skills.
back here, she has abandoned the people that might have been still alive in the farmhouse. And Philippe has shown up and is being a misogynistic prick.
Got it.
Can I make a roll? Because I'm
going to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to her. I want to get down on a knee, put my hands on her shoulders. Achira does not deal well with people, but she knows survivor's guilt. Even if that survivor's guilt is because she was the person that killed people. It's still survivor's guilt. And it's going to be like, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to fill your cup to be able to pour for others. This is something that my foster mom taught me. This is something that my brother Blaine taught me. And it's something that I know. What you're doing right now, trying to kill yourself in a mine shaft, that helps no one. We regroup here and I will go with you to find that basement entrance. But right now, this was the smart move to make for others. And believe me when I say that this is not normally what I do, but I understand where you're coming from right now.
Philippe assesses the situation and then just turns and walks away without saying anything else. He steps out to you, Lampwick. There's nothing to worry about. She's back there.
I ask him to help me up. If I can make an endurance check, I'm going to try to get to them.
He actually helps you.
All right.
Rowan, Kusanagi, Kusanagi, I know you're wiring some things up to set this TV and VCR combo out. Rowan, are you assisting or are you doing something else?
We can talk while I do it. This is easy stuff.
Yeah, I'm more so watching what Kusanagi's doing and rolling a cigarette. And I roll a second one and I pass it to Kusanagi and go, "You smoke?"
Yeah. Thank you.
There you go. How we looking over there? You think you're gonna have this thing up and running soon? Now that
I'm done. This is good to go. Just question is, what do we want to watch first? I mean, We got a bag of tapes here. Are we going to find some Wicked City, some Ninja Scroll, or is it Three Ninjas Kick Back?
As Achira is talking to the doc, she takes her pack off and reaches in for that white clam shell VHS that she found on Blockbuster's body. And it's like, when I used to do VHSs, I always made sure that the ones that were particular to me were of a different color than the normal, just black ones, that you would get. I would, I'd cut the VHS covers and then like put them in the clamshells, like in the plastic covering. And the fact that this person, this Blockbuster or whatever, was so particular about this one and carried it on his body, that just tells me that this is something special. So what you're doing right now, Doc, Maria, this was a good choice. This is important. Come see why this is important with me.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not gonna do anything. I just want to be alone for a little while. Is that all right?
That's all right. Will you give me the keys though? Since
She hands you the keys.
Achira's going to make absolutely sure that nobody else knows that she has these keys, if that's possible.
I'm going to allow you to use your average stealth to hide that, as Lampwick, who is in a great amount of pain, is carried over by Philippe. Lampwick, you and Philippe are now present.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna watch this tape, y'all.
Can I do a spot listen, I guess?
You can do a spot listen, but you're going to have to break 3 degrees of success, and you have 2 degrees or 2 dice of difficulty that you're going to have to make that roll with.
That's all right.
I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah.
Let me know if I need to put some competency points in this, because I will.
You don't.
You do not.
I really didn't. I came here just to basically bear witness
Nosy.
to what, and I give you a look because I know this one, and so if I caught any of that, if I overheard any of this heart to heart, that's all I wanted to come and witness.
There's nothing here, nothing important here.
You didn't hear, you heard whispering. They were talking softly to one another, but by the time you got here, the conversation was over, and you see Achira turning around telling you that you're going to watch a tape.
Okay, I look at the doc and kind of try to read her, and there's no reason to resist.
She's a mess right now, and she kind of like pulls herself together. You can see that she's uncomfortable with you seeing her vulnerable like this.
Mm-hmm. I clock that and I turn away right away.
Achira's going to kind of step in front of the doc, between Doc and Lampwick.
Mm-hmm. Turn right around. Like I said, right. I'm no fool. I can read people.
Rowan, I'm not even going to make you make any rolls for this. Kusanagi is very skilled. And where it comes to electronic devices and making these artifacts of a lost world function, he's one of a kind. Nothing like you've seen before. And you know Sharky, who's able to get tanks running, and other individuals that are good with automotives. But what Kusanagi is doing is near magical to you. As you watch as he pops off the back of the TV, and when it doesn't turn on at first, adjusts a few wires, pulls something out of his bag. There's a very, very subtle spark, and the television immediately turns on.
There we go. Still some life in this one. I'm telling you, quality workmanship.
That's impressive. I'm thoroughly impressed, sir.
I mean, there's not much else to do, and this is my business. So, a lot of the other communities that I visit, like their stuff breaks down. So I fix it, and anything they run into, they give me a better price.
You rag and bone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what. You ever feel like you want to hang with the big boys, you come by the Citadel at any point in time, and you got a home.
Oh, Wow. Yeah. I mean, that sounds great. 'Cause, like, a lot of the time, I just feel like it's dangerous out there, and I mean, sometimes I'm lucky. Sometimes people they catch me or whatever, and I don't know. They don't realize the value of what I have.
I realize. And I want to tell you, I'm not too familiar with Lampwick or Achira yet, but they seem like they got a good heart. And this doctor,
Yeah.
I've dealt with a couple of times, and she might be good with the medicine and shit like that, but when it comes down to it, she's not real good at making judgment calls. So, as much as I'd like to protect her ass and keep her around, she's a bit of a stubborn mule, and I kind of feel like she's gonna take 2 steps in the wrong direction and bring the whole shit show down on herself, kind of like she's already done, which is
I
why
mean,
we're here in a mine.
I think that she's been through a lot. I mean, people
We
aren't
all
always at their best, and I mean, not everybody's like you and is like able to push through that. I think some of this is a new experience for people.
That being said, and I'll take that into consideration, come join up with us, and regardless of whether the doctor realizes it or not, we keep an eye on her pretty well just to try and keep her ass alive because, we realize that of what you've just said. It's why we came to reach out and help Grey Ridge here when they needed help. But uh,
And I mean,
join up with us, and you got a better chance of survival, and you can still help people.
I hear that. And I mean, she's a doctor too, like, again, if she has a skill that's valuable to us, then she's worth protecting. But I agree. Sometimes people just get so broken that they can be a liability, and you do what you can to try to help them. Sometimes it's not in your hands.
Yeah, precisely. That's why there's a bit of a tension there between us. I try and help her. She doesn't realize it's for her own good. But I appreciate you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Achira, you and Lampwick step up at this moment. Philippe is with you.
Achira looks over at Philippe and is like, I got him. Here, take this tape and let's go watch this. And hands that to Philippe to take over to the TV because she wants a moment with Lampwick.
All right. Yeah. Shuffles Lampwick over to you, looks to you, Lampwick, to make sure you're okay with this. And then
All good.
takes the tape and walks over to you, Kusanagi, and hands it to you.
Oh, a request?
I don't fucking know. It's what they gave to me.
Oh, well, thank you. Your name's Philippe?
It's Philippe, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Lights a cigarette and kind of like walks past you, plops himself down into a chair, throws his feet up. It kind of looks over to you, Rowan, and kind of assesses the situation, cocks an eyebrow and kind of points his head towards Kusanagi.
I like him, Philippe. He just rigged this up out of a bunch of broken shit, basically. And now we get to see what's on that. And I point to the tape and raise my eyebrows at him.
All right, friend. It's showtime.
Achira is holding on to Lampwick as the rest of the action is unfolding. And then just kind of like tips his chin over to her so that she's looking him in the eyes. And then very softly whispers, Chuckwagon. Why? No bullshit. And is just staring him straight in the eyes.
As the television monitor starts to come on, Lampwick looks right back and just goes,
Play the tape.
Beginning clinical testing. I'm not sure who's gonna find this, but I pray that you can also.
My name is Undead. And
We tested a radical antivirus that produced complete reversal of the devastating H1N5 virus. We can reestablish a bright future without fear or oppression.
spread the truth.
Trust the good
And the silent sentinels, those who never wait.
and always stand true to their words, true to their hearts. Find us. I don't know our exact location. We've been kept in an underground facility maintaining this research facility for so long. But there are people on the outside who know how to find us. They know where the shipments are coming from. And if you are watching this video right now, it means someone has found our videos inside of one of our shipping containers. And they've passed it on, and they can help you get back to us. No one is safe. No one. Hear the video. Whatever you do, stay away from the machines. They are not what they seem. You cannot trust them. They're a twisted mockery of the old world's religions. Their belief is poison. And they will do anything in service of their prophet, an old man named Malachi. They are a cult, and they are far more dangerous than you could ever imagine. And they are everywhere. I've seen the trucks covered with snow. And I believe the shipments or transports coming from the south, and the power that would be required to maintain this facility would require